Yo, what's going on right now? You're watching Casino is the Name, and in this video, we're going to talk about none other than heir property. All right, so heir property, what is heir property? Heir property is when someone passes and they leave their assets to their heirs, and there's no specific amount of division. It's not so much like, hey, you're getting this, you're getting this, you're getting this. It's you all get it. Everybody who is my heir, you know, that I named in this will is going to inherit all of this land as a collective. Okay? Heir property sounds great, but it's horrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. So why is heir property bad? Well, in theory, you would think, oh, well, it's all family, everything's going to be good. But there is so many different personalities, mentalities, all sorts of things, issues with each other, whatever, that arise when discussing this land stuff, okay? Heir property is an issue everywhere that I've ever been. I've been in the Bahamas. In the Bahamas, there's so much land that is unusable because of heir disputes. Heirs disputing this cousin, this auntie, this uncle, this whoever wants this. Oh, this was mine. This is this. You know, it's so ugly, and land gets locked up for generations. Now, mind you, that's in the Bahamas. It is no different here in America. Everywhere I go, heir property is a problem. And so it's so much easier to just leave it to one person or just divide it up the way you want it. It's so much easier to deal with, to work with. The wishes of the person who left the property get left where they want them to be left, okay? But when you leave it to heir property, now you're opening it up to all these different ideals, personalities, all of the drama from maybe you don't like somebody and now you're partnered with them in an estate, in land, in real property, in houses. And it can just become an issue. And sometimes the only way to settle the dispute is to sell it, divide it up as best you can, or sell it. And it can be very ugly. You know, I'm a mediator, so I'm a certified mediator in the state of Georgia. And these types of disputes can just become ugly. And even for people who may not really care much about the land get caught up in an issue. Like care about not necessarily the land, but like you may care about the significance that this was from your ancestor or uncle or grandparent or mom or whatever. And so you may care about it from the stance of, oh, this is sentimental, but you don't may not necessarily care to be having to deal with lawyers and whatever because there's a dispute about this or that. And you can't even talk to sometimes your own family members because there's an issue. And it's all sorts of things that could happen, right? Like the land could be left to you. Your mom gets remarried to somebody else. The stepchildren end up with the land instead of you because he passed while married to, or you know, like your mom passed while married to this other guy and his kids got it and not you. And it's so many different things that that go on. And so, but there's these disputes with having so many people. I beg y'all to leave the land. If you have land, if you have houses, don't leave 15 people owning that house. Oh my God, that is a nightmare, okay? That's a nightmare, all right? It's so much easier to just leave it, either divide it or to one person or whatever. I don't care who it is, okay? Because if it's 15 people owning a house, nobody owns it, you know? Nobody owns it, and it can be ugly, and you don't want to make life worse for a family because, you know, you thought you were doing a good deed. I don't know when that was a good idea. Like, I don't know who was like, you know what, like throughout the years, I don't know, maybe it was a good idea at one period of time, right? But it is no longer a good idea, and it hasn't been a good idea to leave heir property in a very, very long time. So sometimes as a parent, if I had 10 kids, right? Sometimes as a parent, I just need to say, hey, Junebug, you are not going to get the house. That's going to go to, you know, your sister, or, you know, even if I want to leave it to your cousin, Junebug, you know, your life ain't right. You know, you my kid, but Junebug, you tripping. So I don't think you gonna respect what I'm gonna leave. And, you know, Lil Mikey, my nephew Lil Mikey, is gonna do right by everybody. I trust him as best I can. But Junebug, I don't know about you. And so, you know, you can only do what you can do from while you're here. But once the person passes, I want people to understand that if you got family issues, just remember, when somebody passed, they're gone. They're gone. I know we want to hold on to legacies. Like, some people don't want to sell things. Some people do, whatever it is. It is now in ownership of the people whose names are on the heir property as a collective, right? And if you can't agree, then the legal way about it is to separate. And if you can agree, great, work it out. Because I do know some people who have worked these things out. I do know some. I was talking to a guy, and I don't want to say his name, but I was talking to a guy. He got over $10 billion in contracts, government contracts and stuff, and he was talking about how you can get these loans from like USDA or whatever to like buy out family lands from each other, but you have to agree that, hey, I'm going to buy this portion from you and the USDA. I think it's USDA, but they will get you, help you get loans because they know it's our property and they want it to stay with the family. But once you can't even agree, like sometimes you can't even agree on a buyout. So it's like, hey, how much do you want? I'll buy you out, or you buy me out. And sometimes you can't even agree to do that, and you just have to separate, right? But at the end of the day, one thing that I won't do is, my son is going to get houses. He's going to get lands, houses. He's my only biological child, right? He's going to get lands. He's going to get houses. He's going to get things from me, right? He's going to get things from my sister. And I think I have 2 houses. My sister has 3, and probably ain't counting or whatever. So 4, I think she has 4, whatever. Anyway, he's going to get all of these things. And so what I don't want him to do is try to hold on to something because I owned it. It's his. Whatever he decides to do with it once I'm gone, it's his. Now, the problem with our property is, let's say I had 10 children, like I said, which I don't. But let's say I had 10 children and I decide that I'm going to leave my house to 10 children. I got one house, I'm going to leave it to 10 kids, right? It is up to them to then decide how they're going to proceed. And if they cannot agree, then they have to sell it. But they'll get a benefit from it. That's the whole point of it, right? They'll get a benefit from it. And one person may say, I don't want to sell. Another one say, I want to sell. Then the other person say, well, if you don't want to sell, if you want to sell, then buy me out. Or vice versa. And I don't know how I said that. But it could work out. And then again, if it doesn't, it just doesn't. But I don't want them falling out over a house. And if my son, who's going to inherit several houses, I don't want him to be like, oh no, I'm trying to hold on to this house in Atlanta. I live in, he lives in Macon, but like, let's say if he lives in, New York, and he's still trying to maintain his house down here where he could just sell it and take the money and move on with his life. If that's what he chooses to do, it's his life. It's not my life. I'm living mine. I am living mine, okay? And so it's going to be his decision. And, people change their minds, or they don't want to be in connection with people or whatever. Maybe they don't want to talk to each other. Who cares, right? It's their life. But heir property is a nightmare, okay? It's a nightmare. Please do not leave no heir property for all 15 of your kids or whatever. You got 2 houses, you got 3 kids, tell one of them, hey, you might get my cars, you might get this house, and you might get this house. But I can't leave all 3 of y'all on 2 houses. It just ain't gonna work, okay? It's gonna be a problem, all right? And I see it all the time. I'm an accountant. I see this all the time. And, it is what it is. But heir property is a terrible, terrible idea. Anyway, right now you're watching Casino Is a Name. Please, if you find any value in this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And we out. I was always focused on the money. I started with nothing. I was born to be an entrepreneur. I'm a real estate investor. Had my own trucking authority. Multiple college degrees. Ex-military. I'm an author. Motivational speaker. Not to mention I'm an accountant. But with all the things that I've done, it was government contracts that truly made me rich. There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. It's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino Is a Name.